I think, Eureka, I think I found it. Okay, I found the old way of live streaming, basically. They bury it, I swear. Um, anyway, this is Dee with Critical Break, and I wanted to do a live stream today because I had promised to do videos for you all repeatedly. Things have been really busy, and I will catch all of you up. But the purpose of this particular stream, I'm going to try to stick with it because I want to tell you about a whole bunch of other things that have been going on, but I'm going to stick with the topic, which is an event I had happen early this morning. And I can actually share screen here. Okay, so I got the right live window that I can use for guests and things like that. So I'm happy about that. Now, I need to post the event. Let's see. Yes. So that people will know that I managed to get this running. Let's see. Let's see if I can get it going. Get back to the page where I was. All right. Some of you will find me anyway, but I'm going to post a new link for some people. I told them that I would put it up there. Okay. Done and done. Yay. So, what do I want to do now? I want to share my screen because I got a lot to talk about. I guess I'll start with I have a lot of odd things happen, as you all know. And trust me, you only know a small fraction of what actually goes on. But I have a lot going on. This morning particularly. I didn't go to bed till the wee hours of the morning. 3 a.m. is when I went to sleep. And when I wanted to go in, the next video that I'll be uploading this evening, this is kind of a precursor to that video because it helps explain things a little more in depth and some further insights of my own sense that it occurred, basically. Let's see. Trying to decide. Anyway, 3 a.m. I go to bed as usual rituals, a little kind of lax. In the evenings, I do a routine that's kind of a meditation / manifestation of a protection bubble. And that bubble isn't just 3D in this matrix kind of thing. It spans through all the dimensions outward in every direction. And I do it pretty much every night. And I did it last night, just very briefly. As I was laying there, I felt a sensation on my left leg. I was laying on my right side. I felt a sensation on my left leg. It almost felt like something was touching me. And it was cold, like really cold. And it went on long enough that the rest of me, I actually started getting cold as I was falling asleep. In general, kind of getting cold chills. So I I thought something seemed off, something wasn't quite right. Um, and the idea of negative energy being nearby crossed my mind, but it was fleeting. It wasn't high alert kind of thing. Anyway, let's see. I just remember it feeling on the feeling on my left leg was it did. It literally felt like there was a hand on my leg or something. Anyway, I fell asleep pretty quickly because I was exhausted, 3 a.m. And remember, as I'm going to sleep, I will go to sleep in a meditative state before I even go to sleep. Um, I'll actually start astral projecting or traveling um, almost immediately when I close my eyes. And I jump into that state so easy. Um, the just thinking back of what it was like and what it's like for me when I go to sleep. Um, and I was thinking to myself, um, you know, I have talked about um, what I call home, which isn't here in this matrix reality or whatever. It's not on this dimensional plane. Um, I wanted to go visit because there's been a lot going on and I needed some time with my buds, is a good way to put it. Because, I mean, it's balancing. It balances what you end up, oh, your mood overall, basically. Because let's face it, some of us, our missions here are kind of crazy and kind of hard. So, um, the dream, not a dream. It was an astral event. And it's interesting because somebody else, Sir Tony, as a matter of fact, I don't have the chat pulled up. I need to get my caboose in gear here. And I'm not even looking at the chat windows or any of that stuff. Let me see if I can get over to that so I can at least see you all's chat. Oh, I'm so not together today. I've got so much going on. All right. I have to mute this video, so there we go. All right, got it pulled up. Yay, I can see the chat. Now I'm gonna pop it out. There we go. Now I can see the chat. Yay, go team. I say all the time. And I'm kind of talking about me and my cohorts, basically. Um, so, uh, let's see, where was I? Oh, yeah. I pop into the astral. I'm on another dimensional plane. It's much like ours right here, right now, with some minor differences, but they're very minor. Um, I was heading to meet somebody, and I know who that is because because uh, Sir Tony had a dream about us having a chit chat, and it was to meet up with him. And it was weird because right after I woke up, I couldn't remember. I was like, who was it I was going to go see? I knew it was somebody familiar, and it was kind of an important one. We had agreed to meet up kind of thing, and I knew I needed to be there, and that's where I was headed. So what's up, 5D, huh? Anyway, so I'm walking this, let me describe the setting. Oh, I wish I could draw it. I mean, I could draw it, but it would take forever to really get a good rendition of it. I'll try to describe it. I'm walking in an area that's a small city town, just off a town square kind of area. I'm walking down basically kind of an alleyway that is on the back side of the buildings that are facing inside the town square area. And I'm heading what I feel is westbound at the time. The setting is dark. It's probably approximately 8 p.m. in the evening. It's cold. It's brisk out. There's no snow on the ground or anything. It's just cold. And I've got this parking lot. And, well, first the alleyway. And I'm walking kind of on, not in the alley itself, but there's a sidewalk between it and a parking lot that's over here to my north. And then the buildings are on the south side. And I'm heading west. And there's, street lamps and stuff. It's well lit. It's not super dark. What else can I describe? Like I said, it's probably about 8 p.m. There's lots of vehicles in the parking lot. Smells. Like I said, these are not just normal dreams. This is full perception. You get everything, the smell, a feeling of, air temperatures. I mean, it's just like you're there, basically. Anyway, I'm walking and I'm heading to meet likely Tony. I have a feeling that's what that was. Anyway, I'm looking around because I'm always very aware of my surroundings, what's going on around me. And it's kind of hyper aware is a good way to put it. Much more aware than most people. I notice things other people don't even notice at all. But I definitely am beelining for where I'm supposed to be going. Thinking I need to, get my butt down the street and get where I'm headed. And all of a sudden, I get on my right side brushed up against, like, you know how a crowd of people, when somebody tries to squeeze between people and they brush up against you and you get kind of butted around? That. On my side, coming from behind, going the same direction I am. And I'll describe it. I'll share screen because that will help immensely. This is why I wanted to redo the stream, because this is what I needed to do for you guys. So here we go. Let me pull it up or try to. There we go. You don't need to see that. Okay. This is my research I hope this helps give you all a better feel for what I'm trying to describe here. um, what brushed up against me was an animal that looked similar to this. The way I described it right after it happened was a mixture of a bull mastiff and a bulldog. You see what that bull mastiff looks like. It's just like that, except for the rear end came down, and it's its withers are higher than its flanks. The animal that I saw probably kind of cut it off and have it come up like this, but much like that, very wrinkly face, even kind of wrinkly in this area, just very similar to this, but much bigger, because there was a being riding this thing. I would say you take a normal bull mastiff times 4, and you get probably approximate size of the animal that brushed by me. The being on it was a horned being. And like I said, I immediately set to the internet to try to piece together what it was that I was dealing with. And of course, you saw the picture of this, because I was looking for horned gods or deities. And the only thing that there's only a couple of them that really come up, and one is Baphomet, and the other one is Pan. I don't think I was dealing with Pan. I don't get a sense of that. This being had 2 horns. Let me go through some of the other pictures here to help give you an idea of what the horns looked like. Much like that statue. They were simplistic. They see how these look like, ram or stag horns or whatever. It wasn't like that. It was more like the Baphomet horns. It was swooping straight back up, one solid horn on each side. Let's see. Really, the best rendition is that little statue. Horns like this. I don't recall wings on this being of any kind, or on the mount, the dog creature. But it was capable of flight, because when it brushed by me, when he rode by me, he took a couple of bounds or leaps forward and then shot up in the air. And when he shot up into the air, there was a building off to my northwest across that parking lot I was telling you about with all the cars and stuff. And the building is a 2-story building. It's fairly long, almost like a short city block long. It's not at street level. It was above street level, approximately, I don't know, 2 or 3 feet. It was gold in color, kind of a goldish, yellowish, mustardy gold color. building. It was approximately 2 stories tall, but there was a third story area that kinda, let me see, I think I have, yeah, I do. Uh, the third story area had a rise in the middle of the building, much like this, but a lot bigger, and it was a much bigger building than this. Um, it was probably 3 of these put together in length. Um, and it had a thing in the middle, but it was a whole lot bigger than that. Anyway, he swooped into the air and up onto this part of the building, the peak. And as he was landing, he was turning as he was landing, and he landed facing back towards me directly. And he said something to me right then. It wasn't out loud, though, it was a telepathy thing. And then he took off and swooped through the air and came back towards me directly, dead on. And I pulled something, like I said, it was cool, a brisk out, and I had a coat on, and it was a long coat. Uh, I pulled something out of my coat. Well, I've described that when I've seen myself in ethereal body, a sword that I've described, and it's not just any sword, it's a special type of sword. Anyway, as he went to run by me again, it was like he was trying to provoke me or scare me, kind of thing. Um, that's the best way I can describe it. Because I don't know if his intent was to do me harm, I can tell you that. But I think there was a fear factor that he was trying to engage before that occurred, like a cat playing with its prey sort of mentality. Anyway, as the creature passed by me on my left, I pulled out what I thought for a minute was a stick, but it was the sword. Pulled it out and stuck it out to my side. So as the creature went by, it wounded it, his mount, the dog creature. So I stuck it out at the last second just as he was going by. Um, my thoughts right as he was taking off, coming towards me, or, as he was landing, taking off, coming towards me, because, this is split seconds going on. As that was occurring, my instinct was go into battle mode immediately because I've done this 1,000 times before or more. This is nothing new to me, was the feeling. And yeah, it was natural instinct just to pull it out and just kind of stick it out to the side at the last second. And it wounded the dog type animal. And it disappeared. And my immediate thoughts went to, if it comes back, I'm taking it out. But most of the time they don't come back for more. Anyway, so I continue on my path to whom I'm supposed to be meeting. I'll remind you right now, I can't see chat while I'm sharing the screen. So if there's any questions or anything, put them in your chat, and I'll try to go back over the chat when I get done here. So I get up to a building that kind of had an auditorium theater feel to it too. It may have been a meeting. It may have been that very building that he landed on. I'm not sure. I know it was a corner entrance. There were steps going up to the doors. There were parking lots, kind of like at restaurants where there's parking, on both, pretty much 3 sides of the building or more, maybe 4 sides, but 2 sides I could see, which was, um, both sides of it's hard to explain. I need to look at a building with a corner entry. Anyway, and there's other people entering the building, a lot of other people. This was like some sort of an event or some sort of meetup or something of that nature, and there's lots of people around. Um, and I'm walking up, and I'm almost to the stairs. I had just come up a curb and was walking on a flat sidewalk area that was right before the stairs that go up to the doors. And all of a sudden, boom, this being appears in front of me, just to my, not directly in front of me, but probably 8 feet away from me to my left slightly. And he's tall and dark-haired. It's not super short, it's not super long, mid-length, I'd say. It's dark hair, and I immediately knew he did not have horns anymore. And I think that was an effort to appear to be normal in front of the other people that were in the parking lot and, moving towards that doorway to go into the building. And his, the exact words, and this is exact verbatim, I have something for you. And that's kind of the cadence that he had to how he said it. I have something for you. And his gestures, that he made were grandiose and like a magician performing on stage, or a street actor, like a pantomime kind of person, very grand, swooping gestures when he's talking and moving his arms. And this being, this is the interesting part, and I mention it in the video that I'll be uploading. He looked like Gene Simmons. And no, I'm not joking. Big, tall guy like that. Very, yeah, not kidding. Very much like that. Anyway, I actually took notes to remind me so I didn't forget pieces of it, to make sure and tell you guys every detail. Let me look at my notes real quick. Make sure I didn't leave anything out. Taking the notes helped me to, let's see. All right. All right. With his right hand, he made this grand swooping gesture. Well, first with his left hand, he grabbed my right hand. And this happened so fast. He just, boom, he's there. Boom, he grabs my hand. And this big, grand, sweeping, he's saying, I have something for you. And he's doing this big, grand, sweeping gesture with his right hand. And he deposits these crystalline purple shards that are rocks, like rock shards, into my hand. I have a picture of a rock that I think looks very, very close to what was put in my hand. These were a purple shard. They kind of glowed. There was an odor coming off of it that was acidic and sulfur kind of smelling. When you brimstone, or I don't know, but these things were emitting a wispy smoke off of them, and it was acidic and sulfur smelling. And I have some pictures of what was in my hand, and they were much smaller than this. It was a whole bunch of them, probably, I don't know, 10 to 12 of them, maybe 15, that looked like this. And they were like smoldering, and they looked kind of frosted like. It was weird. Um, but that smell and stuff, and I noticed my hand started to hurt, the skin, almost instantly. And my instant reaction was to throw them down on the ground, which I did immediately. Um, and he said, I'm trying to think of the exact wording. He said, "Ooh, that hurts, much like my beast does." And he was referring to the animal I had wounded. But the thing is, the feeling, when I first saw the dog laying there, because suddenly the dog appears laying near him on the ground, and it's howling and moaning because he kind of steps to the side and it's right there kind of behind him a little bit. And it's lying there whimpering and moaning. And my first gut instinct, because I'm such uh, an animal lover, my first gut instinct was I felt bad and I felt sorry for it. And then my instant inner radar told me that that animal was literally part of him, basically something he had conjured up. So between the rocks, the shards, basically, and his conjured up animal, it was all part of him and part of some sort of dark arts, is the best way to put it. Um, anyway, I threw him on the ground, and it was really weird. It was like he was performing in front of all these people. And I think it was an attempt to put fear into me and unnerve them, and maybe put fear into them too. Um, it didn't work. It just, when I threw down the rocks, I immediately popped wide awake from what should have been a sleep state. And with me, normally, when I wake up from normal sleep for me, it takes me at least an hour to wake because, uh, well, it's hard to pull yourself out of the astral when you spend a lot of time there. And so waking and being back in this matrix is difficult for me to adjust to being back in the biosuit, so to speak. That's the best way to put it. Um, so I immediately, well, not immediately, I laid there for a couple of minutes because I sensed it was still happening. what was happening on the astral just got drug into this matrix, into the 3D matrix. So I laid there just listening, and my radar was fully up, and my telepathy was going with my people. It's like, Gabriel, Adonai, hello, what was that? You know, because that's my first instinct is to go to them, and it's like, what was that? You know, because this entity, creature, being, whatever, is a higher level demon, basically. And I've dealt with a lot of lower level, and I've dealt with the guys in charge, but not this mid-level stuff. And I'm like, what was that? So anyway, so I'm just kind of laying there trying to piece together whether this thing came through into this reality or not. Because my senses were, it did. And I could feel it. I knew it was still around. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to just lay here. So I got up, went to the bathroom, and the whole time I'm thinking about all this, and there's a ton of telepathy going back and forth with me, and I've described it before. The dimensions are all stacked on top of each other. And when you exit this matrix, there's other dimensions you can slip into when you exit here. You don't die. Death is a lie. The energy spirit part of your body, you're infinite, okay? And there's different dimensions you can go to, upper, lower. Is there an upper or lower? It's all a creation of the beings that entrapped us here in the first place. That try to use soul energy as well. They feed off of it. They use it for power. They use it for everything. Anyway, this being had come in to this matrix, and I knew it. I could feel it. I knew it was here. I was positive. And so the telepathy was going hard. And I even verbally said some stuff. I walked out here into the living room to get a drink of water. And something went flashing through my kitchen. And I've got like a nightlight that's an LED nightlight. And I see little orbs and things go floating through there. You know, it's not uncommon, but this was bigger that went, flitting through there. And then a few seconds later, at my patio door, when I have the curtains drawn, even at night, there will be light coming through there, through the curtains and everything. And the moon's fairly full right now. It's not totally full. It's coming out of being full. It was full a few days ago. And the light was coming through the curtains, and I saw something go flashing past that too. And I'm like, oh, okay, it's here. It's still here. It did come into this matrix. So, telepathy wise, I was basically telling it, I was giving it an ultimatum to exit now and save your hiney, was the best way to put it. Because my thoughts that I put out telepathically were, I know what I am when I'm not in this biosuit, and I have no problem becoming exactly that right here, right now. And it hung about for a short time, but it left within 2 or 3 minutes. But there was a whole lot of telepathy going on. of me basically sending, and I was also getting telepathy in from the different, part of the reason I was explaining the dimensions and how they're stacked, and I get contact from other people that have exited here prior, lots of that, lots of other entities, because we aren't the only things walking around, I can tell you that much. I get uh, that dimensional bubble that I make, um, is to protect everything benevolent, and everything benevolent is allowed inside that bubble, and that means dimensionally in all directions. And they were freaking out because this thing had busted through the bubble. And usually I have basically, when I do my protection thing at night, when I'm making that bubble or reinforcing it, so to speak, because it's always up, it's just, it needs reinforced, is the best way to put it. Um, Things don't get past that very often because all of them are on, I put them on high alert, that there's no excuses, no BS. Anything that's negative energy doesn't get to come in. And so they were completely perplexed on how it managed to come in with me. And I am pretty sure I know how I did it because, well, I'll discuss portals later on down the road, but but there is a portal that directly pipes into me, basically, and I think that's how it got how it managed to get in. Kind of came in with me. It's a good way to put it. Um, but they were all in a panic. Like I said, the telepathy going on was crazy at the time. Um, I've had, like I said, I talked about lower level um, entities that are negative that have come in before. Um, I'm going to show you that really quick. Um, some images of some lower level stuff I've had come in. The best way to describe it is it was kind of bat shaped, but they're shapeshifters and they can kind of change form. They're mostly solid black, but there's some change and variation, kind of like the picture depicts here. The edges, like this is, that wispy, weird stuff, is very, very indicative of what I see on the edges. It is a bat-winged shape um, entity. Uh, it's lower level. It's not anything super important as far as uh, their ability or power. They're pretty much nothing. Um, oh, I've had them come in before. Once here in this house, and then another time over in my old place. I had one come in, but uh, they are well, they're all scared of us. Especially those of us, they love to torture the people who don't realize who they are or what they are yet. You hear about people being tortured by demons and stuff like that. Well, that's what's going on. They don't know who or what they really are. And so they're easy prey for these things. Um, anyway, the creature is, it didn't look like this, the bat-winged ones. I'm just using this as a representation, the weird wispy edging, because it's like they have a hard time manifesting in our 3D environment. So that's the best way to describe that. I think that's what the weird wispiness, and they can shapeshift. They go from a bat to almost a spider-like looking sort of thing hanging there. I don't know. It's weird. Just another one of the things that have been conjured up, basically. Um, you know, the thought crossed my mind, we are creators. And I guarantee you, I didn't create these things, but whomever did, we're getting rid of them. And yeah, they don't belong here. They never did. So, anyway, I'm going to upload that video about what happened, um, you know, right after it and kind of during, because it was still hanging about when I made that video. So, and I was just waiting for something to happen because I was, just like I was before. I didn't change state. I was already in high alert and ready for battle, literally. And it never came, which was good. And I went back to sleep. And some people would go, "Oh my gosh, I would be so scared. How could you go back to sleep?" You don't understand. This is commonplace for me. So going back to sleep, plus, I mean, I get alerted. Like, there were signs when I was going to bed, something was getting ready to go down, and I ignored it, sort of. I mean, it was there. I knew something was off, but I ignored it and went on to sleep. And yeah, so I do get warnings. So I'm not, yeah, it's kind of my own fault. But yeah, the dog-like being, I mean, I went through and all these web pages where I'm researching, trying to find something that looks like it, and I can get close, but no cigar, that, but it helps kind of describe um, what they look like, in case any of you ever run into it. Because, like I said, I wounded his conjured up beast, but not him. And my sense is the feeling I get from them is they're all ego. They love to toy with things, cause fear. Um, they, what's a good way to describe it? Even though back in May, their overlords were defeated. Like I said, there was a decided victory in May. Things changed. And even though their overlords were defeated, they're just ego driven enough that I wouldn't put it past them to show back up again, kind of thing. Because it's like their ego overrides their brain. What was that saying that my grandmother said? Something about don't write a check um, your butt can't cover or something. I don't know. Anyway, it kind of came to mind, but they don't use their common sense because their ego tells them that they can defeat us, and they're clearly mistaken. Um, the power that we have, not joking, not kidding, in the slightest, the power that we have far, far, far exceeds theirs. The problem was we had forgotten who we were and what we are. That's the problem. We forgot. Um, and I'm speaking about all benevolent souls that are on this planet, all the ones that have exited. They all forgot who or what they are. Part of my mission is helping them remember, or hopefully remember. I don't, I keep getting this not download. I keep getting the telepathy messages. You can't save them all. You can't save them all. That's one thing I hear over and over again. And I'm like, oh, but I can try. Because I'm kind of one of those people, somebody challenges me like that. It's like, you want to bet? Watch me. you know? So, yeah, there's that. But I wanted to share that with you all. And yes, Sir Tony, I believe I was meeting with you. And that's probably your video when it popped up that you had a dream and you started talking. I'm like, oh, here it comes. So yeah, there's that. There's so much more I've got to share with you all. So much more. Tons, tons, and tons. And finally, my life is freeing up because my son's graduated, on his way to college, got that all sorted out. Um, uh, yeah, things are starting to kind of calm down in that department, in the 3D matrix department. And my goal was when I got him off and running, then I get to go off and running. So there's going to be a flurry. I've been doing a lot behind the scenes, and I've met a whole bunch more just like me. And we are planning live stream events with guests. And I may most likely be on other channels as well, not just on my channel, but on theirs. So, because we've all felt this drive to connect with each other. We've all, some of us, our missions are to put our faces out here in the front and be the guinea pigs of the whole situation, basically, is a good way to put it. Us that are bold enough to put our faces on a screen and not be in fear of any repercussions. Let me tell you, we already get repercussions beyond your wildest dreams. so just putting my face up to me and talking about all this is minuscule compared to some of the other stuff that I deal with. So yeah, there's that. But anyway, I will stop this stream because, like I said, I wanted to keep it mostly directed right at this particular event. I wanted to explain it, let you all know they're there. We're dealing with them. The cleanup process after this war went on for eons and eons, and it was us battling with those that enslaved human souls, literally, not joking. And we won, and there's a huge cleanup project going on, and this was part, these entities like this are part of what we deal with, and that's one of them. And no, we don't immediately go and shred them, for lack of a better word, because it's pretty much what it is. They're always given a chance to correct their ways. Most will not. There's some that will. Souls, actual others like us, like I said, and it surprised us that the others like us, some of them were corrupted. They're given a chance to turn it around, but it's a limited time only offer is the best way to put it. Anyway, so they're given a chance, but most of the ones that are like things that have been conjured into this reality by really negative things, those don't change their ways. They're given a chance, but it's we already know what the answer is usually, so we're usually prepared for that. But I wanted you guys to know, the biggest thing I need you to know is you are what you are. You're super powerful, and no fear. I mean, like I said, our power way, way far exceeds theirs by miles, not even joking. So no fear. You got the upper hand. Always do, always will. Just remember that. Anyway, tons of more videos to come. We'll be uploading that video that I recorded during the event, or, right after and during. And yeah, more to come. Tons more to come. Because, yeah, a lot's going on. Oh, one last thing. You know, I pulled this up to look up the other entities that I've dealt with before, the bat-like looking thing. And one thing that was really interesting that popped up when I did this is there's been a whole lot of sightings of flying bat-like humanoids um, over the last few years, and that does not surprise me because the veils between the dimensions are thin, and they can come into ours, especially the more powerful ones or ones that manage to manipulate some portals or something. Um, so this doesn't shock me at all. And any witness that comes forward saying they saw some sort of bizarre entity, it wouldn't surprise me in the least, not even a little bit. So if somebody says they see something, don't doubt them because there's a good chance they really did. Anyway, I will say goodbye for now, but an upload coming up and later on this evening. I'll start uploading it late tonight. And so it'll be there in the morning or afternoon for some of you. Um, and more live streams coming, definitely tons more. There's a lot going on. Anyway, I love you guys from my heart to the stars and beyond and back. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.